What food does your mom make better than anybody who has ever existed in the history of the universe?
Gestures solemnly to my username.
My mom's Korean. She makes a Korean oxtail soup called seolangtang. It's my favorite meal and I'd want it as my last meal if I had to pick. Edit, honorable mention, haejangguk or hangover soup is another favorite. Highly recommended. Edit again, for those to want the recipe, my mom never wrote it down, but this one uses the same method as her and tastes the same.
Banana bread. I use the same recipe and it just isn't the same. Miss you mum x edit. Wow. Thanks for all the rewards guys. Totally unexpected for such a simple comment. Raising a glass to all the mum's cocktail.
My mom can make the single best roast potatoes I've ever had.
Literally everything. Even toast. I think it's the love.
Gumbo. My mom made the absolute best gumbo and I've spent the last 10 years trying to get it right because she never wrote down the recipe for me before she died despite me practically begging her to do so. God, I miss her, and her gumbo.
Leche flan. Even the stuff from the local Filipino bakery is spongy scrambled eggs compared to my mom's. Thick, smooth custard. No bubbles. Her secret ingredient is the tiniest splash of lemon extract. Sometimes she'll put a layer of flan on top of cassava cake, shredded cassava cooked with macapino coconut. Lord, so good.
Am I the only person who has a dad who cooks more than their mom?
Last night's microwaved.
My mom makes hands down the absolute best lasagna ever, and she can almost perfectly recreate the rice, noodles, and steak from hibachi restaurants.
I married into a Ukrainian family and my mother-in-law and wife make potato cheese pierogies for Christmas and Thanksgiving each year from scratch and there's nothing like them. You think you like pierogies and then you have a homemade one and suddenly you can hear colors.
I love my mom but real talk she is a beat cook. Edit, oh god, so this is what RIP my inbox is like. Edit 2, good going Reddit. My top ever comment is criticizing my mom. What a good son I am. /Flutterbrow.
Not my mom, but my grandma makes the best fried chicken ever. I won't eat any other fried chicken except for hers BC, all the others just disappoint me. Edit. I will ask my grandma for her fried chicken recipe and share it with everyone once I've gotten it. Edit 2. I got the recipe. You're gonna take your chicken, wash it and dry it, then cover it in a flour mixture of salt, fresh ground pepper and paprika, shake off the excess. Then you're going to beat some eggs really well, this is important. Dip the chicken into the egg, and then back into the flour mixture, shake off excess. Heat cooking oil, Crisco, on medium and add the chicken. You're going to turn the chicken every few minutes until it's golden brown. I recommend putting the finished chicken on a plate with paper towels to allow the excess oil to absorb before eating. I hope y'all like it.
Crepes. Everything else she makes is trash.
My mom recently passed and this thread has me crying at my desk. A few months after she died, I thought I was doing better until I had the realization that I would never get to eat my favorite meal of hers again, which sent me into a tailspin. Call your mom and tell her you love her.
Strudel with poppy seeds. I'm not a big fan of sweet food, but this I could eat every single day.
Someone should launch a show called Mom Food Showdown.
Mac and cheese.
My mom makes the best carrot cake in the universe. Hands down. It's her own recipe, hybridized from 2 different recipes she had long ago. It's like no other carrot cake I've ever had. I have it every year for my birthday. She has even shipped it to me unassembled, icing in a jar, cake layers wrapped in wax paper and foil, when I lived far away. I estimate I've eaten this cake at least 50 to 60 times in my 43 years on the planet. Sometimes we make it for her birthday too, it's so good. Editing to add that she cooked and baked a ton all throughout my childhood, and still does a fair amount. Many other things she makes are great too, her meatloaf and her chicken and dumplings are on point, pumpkin pie is amazeballs. But if I had to pick one stellar winner, it is the cake of carrots. Edit, okay y'all filthy animals, the hunger for this recipe is real and I'm here for it. Let's say that anybody commenting up until 6:15 p.m. Eastern Time I will tag when I post the recipe on r_old_recipes. Otherwise, I will also update this post with the link and the stragglers can get there that way. Let there be cake. Son of Edit, the recipe is posted. Well, mostly posted. I am now going to type out the recipe in the comments. The handwritten cards my mom wrote out for me are in the photos, but they're a bit hard to read, and then tackle tagging people. But here it is, hit me up and let me know how it turns out if you try it. And I'm happy to help any novice bakers with questions, no matter how basic. Don't be intimidated, as some relative of mine said, if it's got good stuff in it, it's got to be good.
Sticky toffee pudding. Could be something to do with the full pound of butter she uses, but who can say?
My mom is from Italy, you know anything she cooks beef slaps.
Honestly, everything. That woman's like a mad scientist in the kitchen. She'll beep around and experiment, turn out some really weird, gross, downright obscene stuff from time to time, and just figure out what works. And the process ends with something that you imagine the gods would eat on Olympus.
Literally the only thing my mother ever cooked that was worth eating is grilled ham and cheese. Still to this day, I have no clue what makes hers better than anyone else's. It's just cheese, ham, bread and butter, but for some reason hers is simply the best ever made. I haven't spoken to my mother in nearly 30 years, but I still have dreams about that goddamn sandwich.
Chocolate chip cookies.
Cornbread. The trick is she uses a very old and well-seasoned cast iron pan to cook it.
Pupusas. A Salvadoran dish.
Cheesy broccoli. It sounds dumb, but I have always loved it when she's made it. I remember back when I was in kindergarten I brought a large container of it for show and tell. Since it was my favorite thing that my mom made to eat, I wanted to share it with everyone in my class. I was really excited too and helped her prepare it the morning before school and thought everyone would think it was cool I brought something everyone could eat instead of something like a toy like most people. The rest of the class was not as excited as me and no one, except the teacher and I think maybe my friend Nick, ate any of it. I guess it was weird to actually like vegetables and I was a bit disappointed that nobody really tried it, but at the same time was also happy because it meant more for me.
Chocolate chip cookies. She uses an ancient family recipe that has been handed down for generations on the back of the Toll House bag.
Guacamole. Edit. For us the trick has always been a little bit of sour cream, which especially helps if the avocados aren't great, and taunts of garlic. I gotta say the comments on this have been very educational. I feel like I need to take notes on these ingredients, haha. I wish I could try all of your guacamole. Edit r/guac_guacamole.
Roasted pepper chicken stew with steamed potatoes in it, also known as
improvising cocktails. She is a terrible cook and hates to do it, but drinks, girl, will make sure you don't go empty. She lives in a kinda remote place so has to make do with what is on hand. Her best, making it up in the moment that has become an old standard for the family, eggnog and fireball. Traditionally, it is spiced rum and eggnog in my region. Mom ran out of spiced rum so she used fireball. And fireball has now been elevated from a quick something to slam down to get drunk cheaply in university to an appreciated holiday treat.
My mom takes those little bags of Doritos and crushes them up in the bag. Then she pours your taco meat and all the taco accoutrements over it and gives you a fork. She calls it walking taco and it's the greatest treat any mom has ever invented. Edit. Everyone please stop insinuating my mother didn't come up with this creation from her own mind. She's a saint and I won't accept any other explanation.
Apple pie. Funny thing is, she is Korean, never had apple pie growing up, and does not really care for desserts. She uses a recipe from a Betty Crocker cookbook, but tweaks the spice and always tastes the filling before baking to adjust the sweetness. The pie always has the perfect balance of sweet and tart, and it's never goopy. Granny Smith apples, always.
Lasagna. Just thinking about it makes me salivate. Thick, buttery garlic toast and a salad on the side,
Baked potato soup. I haven't had it in forever and I miss it. I think about that soup a lot.
I have more memories of my grandma's cooking, because my mum unfortunately worked the night shift for most of our childhood and so we ate at our grandparents' down the road most of the time. My grandma was a fantastic cook, and she had many classics in her repertoire: carnival beignets with vanilla custard, latkes, although we just called them potato pancakes, noodle, soups made of every vegetable on this earth, etc. but the one dish I remember the most was one of the most basic meals you can imagine. It was simple lardons, a fattier version of bacon, cut in small strips, fried in a pan, with a few sunny side-up eggs cracked on top, so that the fat and the crisp of the pork would embed in the eggs, a bit of salt, a generous crack of pepper and a good grating of nutmeg. In another pan, she's fried potatoes cut in tiny cubes with some rosemary, all of which was picked from the garden the morning of by my grandpa. And finally, a hefty serving of spinach from the same garden, cooked at low heat with a good spoonful of cream, shallot and garlic. It was perfect, just decadent enough to enjoy the guilt, but enough spinach to ward off early onset diabetes. She'd usually cook it on a Wednesday, when we didn't have school in the afternoon, and so, after lunch we would loiter around the dining table, playing robber's rummy with her, or we'd go to the living room and help her untangle her skeins of wool, with some low-budget detective show on the television in the background, usually Inspector Derek, a German show with such a slow pace it would make the afternoon stretch out for days, so that we'd always have time for one more card game.
Biscuits and gravy.
Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with the crust cut off.
Pulled pork nachos.
May your day be filled with joy and happiness. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe for more quality content every day.